action. Hi guys, welcome to the Places You'll Fly. I'm Arinika and today we'll be talking about everything you need to know about intermittent fasting and how to start it today.
Darling, you send me, I know you send me, darling, you.
Intermittent fasting is a way of eating where it doesn't tell you what to and what not to eat, but rather it restricts you in the duration of your eating timing. It basically has a fed state and a fasting state. Let's talk about how it works. So once you have not eaten for 12 hours, your body moves into a self regeneration, a self restoration sort of a state. Your body, your digestive system is resting, it's not working as hard, not working around the clock, so it gives your body a break. It also helps you digest better. Insulin is that chemical in your body that triggers that feeling in you that you are full, that you have eaten and you're satiated. The more you eat, the more insensitive your body becomes to having that trigger saying that yes, you are full. And then once you're used to it, you need to eat more to feel that satisfaction, and then eat more and then eat more. If you have fasted for a long time, your insulin sensitivity is restored, and so you feel fuller and more satisfied for a smaller amount of food. You might have seen it in those really skinny people who eat really little and they're really happy and satisfied with the amount of food, and people like me can just keep gorging and they don't feel that they have eaten anything at all. So yes, it is, a lot of things are hereditary, but it does come down to insulin sensitivity. If you ever get the feeling that you're never happy and never satisfied or full from what you ate, fasting is the best way to go. Something really special that intermittent fasting does, and it has really helped me do, is repair my relationship with food. After a short period of time, the consistent thinking or the consistent mind wandering towards food that used to happen to me, the constant feel of hunger and the dissatisfaction from the small amounts of food that I was eating has completely gone away. I have been intermittent fasting on and off for a long time, and every time I do fast, I can really see the benefits. I'm just not consistent with it, but I do highly recommend intermittent fasting for everybody. Let's talk about all the benefits of intermittent fasting, physical and mental. So there are 1,000 studies done on intermittent fast. There is a lot of proof to its benefits, and honestly I cannot give and explain every benefit in detail, but let me read out the most important ones, and you can also go through my post. I'll link it down below and you can read in detail if you want to read further about it. So some of the physical benefits that are very prominent in intermittent fasting is detoxification and regeneration, and it also reduces inflammation. Having the digestive system gone into a standby mode and letting it relax, it reduces the inflammation in the body. And of course, there is something called the HGH or the growth hormone. Once you are fasting for a really long time, HGH increases. It helps you build more muscle and it helps you also lose fat. And of course, the digestive system not working for so long helps us detoxify our body. It decreases aging. It helps you fight against cancer and heart diseases. That's like a double win. It helps you build more lean muscle. Like I said, it increases the amount of growth hormones in your body. It also helps lose weight. It helps you to recognize when you're truly physically hungry, and it also helps you to realize when you're just craving for some more sugar or some of that more yummy, fruity white bread. One of the other things that really helps me with when I do intermittent fasting is that it really saves a lot of time and effort and energy when you don't have to plan for multiple meals in a day. It also saves you a lot of time when you don't have to prepare for more food throughout the day. It additionally saves you a lot of money when you have to prepare lesser meals and you have to buy groceries for lesser meals. So it is not only healthy, but it is a healthy habit that also saves money. So what are you waiting for? It helps you lose weight by using your fat storages directly as energy. Imagine losing all that tummy fat while you're doing nothing and just sitting. A girl can only dream. So let's talk about some of the most popular ways of fasting. I'm going to group some of them together in the first point, and that would be fasting for maybe starting from anywhere 16 hours to all the way 24-hour fast, or one meal a day fasting, in which say you'll be fasting, for example, in the 16 to 8 fasting, you'll be fasting for 16 hours and having a 8-hour eating window. In the 20:4 fasting, which I personally follow, you'll be eating in a 4-hour window and fasting for the rest of the 20. Another popular way that people do this is by eating one meal a day, but let's just concentrate on the fact that if you're eating just one meal in a day, it should be nutritious and it should be a good meal, a hearty meal, and not just eating very little to just get over the meal. Another popular way of fasting is the 5:2 fasting, wherein you'll be eating normally like you usually do for 5 days, and the next 2 days you'll be fasting. So either Monday or Tuesday, if you're really busy that day, fasting could get really easy and you could fast for 2 days, Mondays and Tuesdays. And or people usually fast on the weekends. That's one way for you to do it too. Whichever way you choose to fast and whatever you choose to eat during your feeding window is completely up to you. But yeah, doing so much work and fasting for so long, I'd say you should also concentrate on what you're eating, especially the first meal. We'll be talking more about that later. The last way that people use for fasting, or the last method that people use, is the alternate day fasting. It's sort of like the one meal a day fasting, but in this, basically for 24 hours you'll be eating normally as you do, and in the next 24 hours you'll be fasting, and then again 24 hours you'll be eating normally and then fasting for 24 hours. It's basically a less drastic version of one meal a day. So maybe it's a good starting point. I personally follow the 20-hour fasting time duration, and then I eat in a 4-hour duration. So I usually have 2 meals, one around 5 p.m. and then about 8 or 9 p.m. The next day, it's just so much more easier because I think I can get a lot of my work done by 5 p.m. So I just fast and concentrate on my work and get a lot done by 5 p.m. and then I can just relax and eat some meal at 5, and then have a final dinner before starting to wind down for the day at about 8 or 9. I have recently started intermittent fasting again. I have not been as hungry as I used to be. I do not constantly munch and I constantly don't think about food, and that's just in a period of maybe 3 days. My stomach has gone in. It's not as bulgy, should I say that? It's not as bulgy as it was maybe 3 days back. One of the biggest fads I constantly hear, and one of the things that I know mentally stops most people from starting an intermittent fasting regime, is the idea that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And they are right to a certain extent. What is most important to note here is that it's not breakfast, but the first meal of your day that is the most important. So the longer you have fasted, the more sensitive your body is to all that food that you're going to be taking in that fasted state. So in your first meal, the body instantly absorbs everything that you have eaten. So whether you start eating the moment you get up, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., or whether you eat it at 5 p.m., it doesn't matter. As long as you're eating a nutritious meal for your first meal in the day, you're good to go. Let's talk about how you can start fasting today. So I would recommend starting with a smaller plan. So your fasting needs to be at least 12 hours. So maybe you could start with a 14-hour fasting, and every week you can increase the number of hours. So 14-hour fasting, if it's too easy for you, then maybe you could move it to 16 hours. Try doing 16 hours for a week and then move it to 18, and then from there move it to maybe 20 hours a day. A 20-hour fast is an amazing place to be in. I personally follow the 20-hour fast. It's where your body is already in a restorative state. It has high growth hormones. So if you're working out, you'd have amazing lean gains. You'll be losing fat constantly. Personally, I've never tried 5:2 or an alternative fasting, so I would not be the right person to suggest that to you. But yes, I would totally recommend a 20-hour fast and slowly easing into it. Like I already said, please keep an eye on what you consume, because you're only eating for 1 or 2 meals, and let's try to see if we can make it as healthy as possible. What I do to help myself is use a fasting app. Now there are a lot of fasting apps out there, and you can choose whichever suits you the most. I use this app, and one of the positives of using an app is that it reinforces the idea of fasting and helps me continue my state of fasting. If ever I am feeling mentally weak to continue the fasting, I just go into the app, see that I've already done maybe 14 or 16 hours of fasting, and then it's just easier to finish off the next 2 hours. It's much easier when you can visually see how much you have already fasted. It keeps you on track. There are additional features on multiple apps, including water drinking reminder, so you can just check out all these apps. I'll put a link of the app that I personally use, and you can check that out if that works for you. One major tip that I'd love to give to you guys is start the fasting on a Monday, because on a working day or on a Monday you are so busy that your mind does not wander continuously to the fact that you're hungry or you're fasting. So when you're busy, it's just easier to fast and not continuously keep thinking about food. And also, since you're busy on that day, it'll help you to realize how much time and effort this fasting has saved for you, and then you can keep the entire weekday as a measurement tool of how fasting has really helped you in your journey. It was quite difficult to put everything about intermittent fasting in a single video. So if you'd like to have some reference material or read more about it, you can visit my blog. I'll paste the link below. Also, if you did really like my video and you'd want more, then please subscribe and press the bell icon to be notified about my next video. Thank you.